it's a very and people not everybody will understand it, but it being an African American professional wrestler is hard.
Shopping Tens podcast. We hold it down. They know what's now.
Now from the HR.
Oh Lord. Now that I think about it, we should have Montezi send Lio the song so they could do a remix to it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying. But Jobber Nation, welcome to an exclusive interview brought to you by the Jobber Tears podcast. As always, I'm Janelle from HR. Here with Wilkins and Mrblacc, and we have a very, very, very special guest with us. I'm going to let him introduce himself because I don't think I can do justice to it. So tell the viewers and listeners who you are.
What's up, people? This is the man of the hour, Lio Rush, former WWE NXT superstar. You've seen me on NXT. You've seen me on 205 Live, Mixed Match Challenge, Monday Night Raw. I've been a professional wrestler for the past 6 years. I'm 25 years old. Some people call me the 25-year-old piece of gold. And yeah, I'm sitting in my home right now, dealing with this entire pandemic like the entire world is doing. But yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this.
Awesome. So a little tidbit before we do get into asking you billions and billions of questions. We do typically just do like a checkup, seeing how everyone's doing. So we just go around and say, like, what's something new you've been watching on TV? So I'll start off with Sir Wilkins. What's something you've been watching on TV that's new?
Oh man, me first.
You go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You the guest.
Go ahead.
I feel like I've been all over the place with like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime. I've just been, with the schedule that I had when I was in the WWE. I literally had, I don't know, it was not enough time to watch any kind of shows or anything that I really wanted to watch other than like the product and practicing the things that I needed to practice. But I feel like I've been, I don't know if you guys are fans of Good Girls. I don't know if you watch The Masked Singer.
Of course.
Man, I've been watching reruns of like Friends and like iCarly and Martin, just a whole bunch of different like sitcoms that was pretty good times like in my childhood.
All right.
Some
awesome.
said iCarly.
I am a fan of Good Girls. It's a really good show.
And also, I'm a big fan of iCarly. I've probably seen every episode. Like that's a classic.
Yeah,
classic.
Same.
All right, Mrblacc. Actually, since you were just talking, what's a new show you've been watching this week?
Actually, no really new shows. I've been watching again a lot of movies I've been missing for the past couple of years. I definitely caught. I watched that new movie with Thor in it. What's that?
On Netflix.
Yeah, on Netflix. Again, it's great. It's not a typical Netflix ending where you go like, "What the hell?" It's very good. From beginning to the end, it's the same guys who choreographed the fight scenes from all the good fight scenes in the Marvel movies, such as Captain America, Civil War. This man has an impressive resume when it comes to fights, and it's not a disappointment. It's just like this. They know how to direct fight scenes that make it realistic. Like, okay, it's believable. Excellent movie. Another thing I actually been catching up on too. Like, I've been catching on a lot of stuff. A lot of like wrestling. A lot of like stuff that I enjoyed growing up. Such as, again, everybody knows that I'm a big fan of Steve Blackman, the whole Lions Den match. I've been watching them from backwards and forwards. Like, oh man, this is like excellent. Like, I keep watching it. It's like, it's not new, but to me, it's just like, yeah. And actually been really into IG Live. Like, I saw you against Nasty Leroy. That was.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Him and Nasty Leroy went at it. It was like the most uncomfortable, funniest thing I ever seen. I was just like, mind you, I had to work in a couple hours, and I'm like this, like, man, this is so awkward, but I can't stop watching it. And
Yeah,
it was
he's
just
a
so
trip,
awkward.
man.
Yes, but it was entertaining. So overall, that's it. That's it. What about you, Janelle?
I've been watching Boomerang on BET because I feel like that's like my post college life played out on TV.
That's a show.
Yeah, it's a good show on BET. See, BET got some heavy hitters on the low. So
What?
you got Sisters, you got Boomerang. They had that stupid show, The Oval. I hadn't watched that, but some people like it.
What is that?
Yeah, it's basically like Scandal, like flipped upside down. Like it's I don't think it's all that, but what else have I been watching this week? I feel like that was it. I had binge watched on that. But Dead to Me comes back on Netflix tomorrow, so I'm gonna go Ghost and watch Dead to Me season 2. So that's gonna be exciting. And then of course, you know, Money in the Bank is this weekend, so I may watch an old Money in the Bank to just get myself in that mode. I don't know yet. Probably one that was at that was in the WrestleMania, because I used to love that. Like I felt like that was a really good element that was added to WrestleMania when they did Money in the Bank before they started doing its own pay-per-view. So
yeah, and I felt it was more well earned. Like not only like you get more guys on the card, but they actually perform at their best because it's WrestleMania. Compared to Battle Royal, you may see one of your face. Oh, that's what's the face. Oh, that's what's the face. But yeah, they don't get entrance. But you right though. Like I forgot that was a WrestleMania. Like
yeah, that's where it started. It started at WrestleMania. Last but not least, Starbucks, what's something you've been watching this week?
Well, I've been watching Dave with Lil.
I just finished Dave. Dave. That was really good.
I think that's one of the most well-written shows in a long time, and you really get a glimpse of like being an artist.
Yeah, exactly.
All the breakdowns and everything, and it's so funny. It is so funny. Shout out to Kevin Hart for being the executive producer on that. Like that's crazy to me. Also, I've been watching a lot of like shoot interviews. I love shoot interviews. I love shoot interviews. So I was watching, you know, the guy I don't like real much, Kevin Sullivan. You know, my conspiracy theories about him and Benoit. But
listen, Kevin Sullivan ain't always the bad guy. Come on.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that he did it, but
you know what? Y'all all gonna be like, what the hell is wrong with me? So I never watched Training Day straight through in my entire life.
Lord.
So I finally watched it straight through the entire movie, and I was like, this is overrated. This is the most overrated movies. But you know what? Denzel was older than Asuka, so he deserved it. I'll let it go.
But not for that one.
Not for that.
They owe him one. But that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that and, you know, living the COVID-19 quarantine lifestyle, doing push-ups in the crib and kettlebell swings.
Right? And you go to sleep at 9:00 and you wake up the next day like, what happened? Yeah, that's the quarantine life. Yeah.
Basically. Ain't nothing much I've been doing. Just working, you know, virtually, but that's about it. Simple lifestyle.
Cool.
I want to ask Lio.
Sure.
You're a musician, rapper, singer. Top 5 artists.
Top 5 artists of
Let's go.
Of all time or like
no, your favorite.
Like
your favorite.
Yeah, of all time.
My favorite.
Not favorite. Yeah,
so I think I'm gonna go with people that I feel like inspire me or just inspire my style, I guess. So I'll go Eminem first. I'll go with Drake. I'll go with Tory Lanez.
Wow.
Maybe Post Malone.
Yes, I'm such a huge Post fan that I don't understand.
Man, the last one is always hard. Let me see. Maybe The Weeknd.
Oh, that's his name.
I've been to every weekend concert that's been in New York. Every
Nice.
weekend concert. I have not missed a year. I was supposed to go this year, but COVID-19.
COVID had different plans.
Yeah.
So, Leo, what drew you to music? Like, what was that? What was the moment where you were like, "This is something I'm passionate about"?
I grew up in a family filled with musicians and artists, and my parents were a gospel duo. They've gotten nominated for Stellar Awards in the past. My dad was like a music producer as well, so we had an in-home studio. The studio was literally right underneath my bedroom, and my dad was constantly busy with sessions. So every night, every day, all day, I would always hear sessions just pumping through like my vents, and that's all I heard was music growing up. I went on tour with them on like the Spirit of those boats, those tour boats, the Spirit of like Philadelphia, Spirit of Washington, stuff like that. Going all over the country. Yeah, I feel like I didn't know. I was so involved in sports and athletics when I was younger that it didn't even cross my mind to, be a part of the music industry when I got older. But I feel like the older that I got and I don't know how to word it, but I don't know. I started to gain a more appreciation for what my parents did when I was a kid, and there was always like interest of poetry with me, and I was always like a writer, and eventually that kind of just drifted off into putting poetry to music, and then I started writing songs. So yeah, from a very young age, music was always a part of my life.
That's awesome, guys. If you have questions, just throw them into the pool.
So why did you choose wrestling first instead of going straight to a music career?
I feel like maybe because that it felt more natural to me. It was something that I did since I was young, and I did it every day, every year. So it just felt like it was just a part of my life. Like it was easy as like 1, 2, 3. So I didn't have to, learn how to be an athlete. With music, I had to learn how to be an artist or learn how to write songs. So I felt like just athletics in general just came a little more natural to me. So I went more into that route.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. So where do you got your training from, as far as wrestling wise? How you got your training, and how you came up with the name Lio Rush?
So I started training when I was 17 years old. I trained at a school called MCW Pro Wrestling Academy. Before it was called Bone Breakers, and then after that it was Maryland Championship Wrestling facility. But I started there. My trainer at the time, Dean Gutrich, aka Tyler Hilton, he was on the independent scene, strictly on the independent scene. He trained me, and he came up with the name for me, actually. I'm sure, Wikipedia is available to everybody. So everybody knows my real name by now. Lionel Green's my real name. But the first, I just took the first 3 letters of my first name, and I was just trying to figure out, how I could make it sound cool, and it looked like a different variation of Leo. So I picked Leo as the first name. Just spelt it different, which turned out pretty cool. And then my last name kind of came from my trainer, because he always said that I was so fast, like in the ring, and that was kind of like my style. I was more so like a speedster or a quick guy, not so much like a high flyer. And then he said that I was just literally always in a rush to get better. I was always in a rush to go to the next place or accomplish the next thing. So that's kind of how Rush came into play.
So I have another question. Like, what inspires?
Ahead.
Oh, sorry. So, what inspires your wrestling style? Like, because I see that you just like. I like to say that a lot of modern day wrestlers are like combination of what kind of games they played growing up. Like a lot of us play Here Comes the Pain, No Mercy, and our guys can do everything. So my question is like, what inspired your style? What are some of the other wrestlers, other pop culture that correlate to what Lio Rush is in the ring?
If I had to pick anybody, like as far as a wrestler goes, I think I would just go with Rey Mysterio, just because he's paved the way for people, of my stature. So I feel like, and I feel like my style doesn't even, match up with Rey, because again, like he's like such like a high flyer, and he does like all of these crazy like things. But I feel like my style majority like came from amateur wrestling, because I was always, quick on my feet. And I feel like the reason why I'm not a high flyer is because of like amateur wrestling, you have to stay on the ground, obviously. So like I'm kind of like not scared, but I would prefer the ground level rather than doing like springboards and stuff like that. So
you fooled us because you always on the top rope.
Exactly. All those backwards you did against the turnbuckle. I mean, the turnbuckle effortlessly. I was all right, I guess this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Leo, working on the indie scenes, my question to you would be, what's some of the biggest lessons you learned working on the independent scene versus working for WWE? Because I feel like
good question.
A lot of people, especially now, like we personally know a lot of people that are training and trying to get into the business. And of course, the independent scene is very different from WWE. So what are some of the lessons you learned on the independent scene that you took with you once you went to WWE?
I think there's like a good handful, but the most important one to me that, and I guess I'm kind of coming to this realization now that I'm not a part of the company anymore, but I feel like the biggest difference and the biggest thing that I've learned and taken from the independent scene is that you have to believe in yourself and push yourself. And you have to believe in yourself more than anybody else is going to believe in you, because on the WWE, you have a machine to push you. You have somebody to tell you where to be, where to go, how to perform, stuff like that. But like on the independent scene, it's strictly all up to you. Your progress is based on how much you want it, how much what your worth ethic is like. And I feel like with me, being on the independent scene, I constantly had to do everything on my own, from doing merchandise to booking myself on shows to making sure that, not all the time, but sometimes, I had to make sure that travel was arranged properly and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing is to continue to like push yourself and believe in yourself, and just be your biggest fan, because that you are going to be the one that helps you progress in the wrestling scene, rather than WWE doing all of that stuff for you.
Awesome.
That's awesome. We saw you grow up in front of our eyes, for the most part. You came into this industry extremely young. Like you just said, you're 17 years old, coming into this industry. You, in some way, skyrocketed into the E. So you went through growing pains. We all, talk about shit all the time. You know how it is. And you spoke about it. So these growing pains you went through, and now that you're not with the corporation, what did you learn during that process that's going to take for the rest of your life? Because you learn lessons in the indies, but those growing pains that you went through, because like I said, it's been publicized, some of it. Now, what did you get from that?
I think a big thing that I've learned with being in the WWE is patience. Because just the way that I am naturally, I put in so much work and so much time and so much effort into what I do, and I expect results from it right away. But with everything that I've kind of been through in the WWE and having certain expectations on the company or creative and stuff like that, I feel like I feel like it's taught me patience because I literally had no control. I had no grasp on my progression, like in the company. You know, I had to do and say what they told me to do and say, and when to do it. And you know, it was rough. That I think, because of the frustrations uh, with not having patience, that kind of led to other things that got me into some trouble within the company. But I think that was like the main thing that overall kind of, you know, shifted all of these other things that happened, like a domino effect. But patience was the main thing.
Wow, that's deep.
That's a
I
life
gotta
lesson.
ask you, like, I gotta ask you right now, man. Like, what was going through your head with the Asuka tweet? Like, personally, I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious. Like, I thought it was hilarious. I was like, all right, I understand the concept. Like, he was just being kind of witty about it. He wasn't offending nobody. It was just like going on with the gimmick. You keeping kayfabe alive. And next thing you know, everyone attacked you. And I'm looking like, he didn't do nothing wrong. He just keeping kayfabe alive. Y'all so stressed so much about wrestling. Oh, keep kayfabe alive. And he did it. What he did wrong. Like, what lesson that you learned from that, and what was your thought process before the tweet and after the tweet, and how
So
everything blowed up? Yeah.
So I think, I was just talking about this about like a month ago. It was a good month ago. I remember like it was yesterday. I was sitting in a Waffle House. I was sitting in a Waffle House, scrolling through my phone, and I saw that tweet of like WWE saying that they like released Asuka with some other people. I think it was like Darren Young and I forgot who else. But anyways, I remember scrolling through my phone and I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't think anything of it because and this obviously isn't an excuse or anything, but you know, at the time I was new in the company. I was brand spanking new, you know, being as busy as I was on the independent scene. I didn't know what was going on in WWE. I didn't know that uh, they tweeted out when somebody got released or fired. Like that was that was I don't know. That was weird. That was weird to me. So I thought that it was a part of the storyline because she just came off of that pay-per-view match. She was getting vignettes of like a makeover like every single week. So I thought that it was a part of like the storyline. And then when I tweeted it out, you know, my phone started blowing up, and I'll never forget that Patrick was the first person who reached out to me, Velveteen Dream, for those of you who don't know. But yeah, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm hearing a lot of stuff about like a tweet that you made," and I was like, "Oh no, it's no big deal." You know, I was just like, I don't know, goofing around or whatever. I just didn't know the situation was as serious as it was until I actually went back on Twitter. I saw everything that was going on, and yeah, things started to sink in uh, really bad, and things got serious in a hurry. And yeah, man, I think it was just honestly, man, I think it was just me being young, being stupid at the time. It was a not knowing how serious the situation was. It definitely put me in a position where I just didn't imagine myself being in. And that is my fault, not being aware of how serious the situation was, not knowing that the WWE actually tweeted out when somebody got released. So yeah, it was weird. Like I said, I didn't mean it to be harmful in any way. Like I don't have that type of I just don't have the heart to be malicious like that. So it was weird. It was tough to see everybody reacting the way that they were and saying the things that they were saying about me and stuff like that. But yeah, it was stupid.
I mean, personally, everybody on the internet make it seem like he was heartless. I
Mm.
saw it as he
It was
made
a
a
little
joke.
funny.
It was a little funny, like because I remember all the wrestling news picked it up. Lio Rush had a nerve to say, "Oh, she was ready for Oscar." I'm looking like y'all niggas are not from British. I'm sorry Stop making the N-word so much. Like, yo, y'all people not even from America, and y'all don't even get half our humor. Y'all think that humor is bad, so a lot of people just make it worse than it is. And you already know, for us brothers out here, like, this is like, it's so much less of us. I bet you was somebody who was not skin complexion who said that, it wouldn't be such a big deal. That's personally how I feel. And the fact that your position in the company being brand new and stuff like that, it was just like, it wasn't a big deal. But I understand what you're saying. Like this, I also see it from everyone else standpoint. It was bad timing. It was some of the joke that you should have made. This, that. I understand that, and a whole thing. But overall, Lio, man, you're a good dude. Like, I also gotta ask you this, man. Like, what really happened with the whole, like, a lot of backstage reports that you wasn't happy. Mark Henry tried to talk to you, but you wasn't listening. You went away, then you came back. Explain that whole time, that whole timeline to the people that who may not know, like, what happened the time that everybody said that you was just very unworkable. Like, Lio Rush became damaged goods. Wow.
That whole situation was very weird to me, just because there were so many different stories going around, and people were picking things from this story and putting it into this story, and it just got crazy. The amount of different things that was coming out that wasn't accurate. I honestly don't even know what started that, to be completely honest with you. It was just something that happened, like, that happened one day. I remember, I think I had a conversation with somebody in the office about not being happy with my financial situation. So I wanted to fix that, but they saw it a different way, and we just had a disagreement. And I thought that it was left at that. And then, the next day, information started coming out that wasn't accurate at all. And then the whole Mark Henry situation, that was super weird to me, because I completely thought that me and Mark Henry were cool, strictly because of, I think it was about a month or two after I had met him at WrestleMania. And I remember going up to him. I introduced myself to him. We spoke for a little bit, and we were cool. And then I think I saw him again at a Monday Night Raw episode, and he randomly walked up to me and said, "Hey, is there anything going on that you want to talk to me about?" And I said no. Like, it was just weird. And he said, okay. And then once all of the stuff came out about, like, how I lied to him and stuff like that, it was just like, this is so weird, because you asked a vague question that had no real context to it. Like,
so let me ask you a
and
question.
I don't really know him personally. So just because of the way that I am, like, I'm not just gonna, like, open myself up. Like, I didn't know what he was talking about. If there was anything going on with me, I was like, I don't know. My dog just.
So was it like one of those, like? So was it like one of, like? Sorry to interrupt. Like, I just gotta clarify. Was it like one of, like, oh, you good? Like, you know how you good, or was it like the, hey, what's up, you good? Like a generic you good?
Yeah, I think it was like, I felt like it was that. Like, it was once the article came out, or whatever he said, it was very strange to me. It was really weird to me how he came out and said it the way that he did, and how I lied to him and stuff like that. Like, he asked me, like, this specific question, and that we've been friends for years. Like, I met him one time, and he asked a very vague question. So I gave him a vague answer.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what he was talking about. Like, he could have came up to me and said, like, hey, I'm hearing some stuff in the locker room. Is any of this true? Like, he could have just said that.
And would you be open to, like, if he had came more like, hey, explain himself? Would you have been more open to tell him what's going on, give him ideas?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely would have been more open, but to ask a vague question from somebody that I don't even know, really, it was just weird to me how he said that I lied to him. Yeah, that was really weird. But I mean, hey, I'm like I said, I'm not a malicious person. I'm not somebody who holds grudges and vendettas and stuff like that. I just don't have the energy or time for it. So yeah, it's so it was just weird to me. It was weird.
So
But
during that time that wait, hold on, can I interrupt you? Like during that whole time, I have to ask this. Was Bobby Lashley, of course y'all was close from all the vignettes y'all seen. Was Bobby Lashley also talking to you during that time? Make sure that you was okay as a man.
Yeah, me and Bobby were close. We still are close. So he talked to me about all of this stuff. He gave me advice on it and stuff like that. Um, but I don't know. It just started to get a little the Mark Henry situation, I guess, more specifically. It just became really weird to the point where I kind of like lost a little bit of respect for him just because of, you know, he clearly saw that, I went up to him during WrestleMania and we were talking for a little bit and we even talked on the phone after that situation and we talked about the whole situation, and then he came out again and said something about like if you're not happy with your financial situation, then you need to like learn how to manage your money better. And I'm just like, dude, like, how do you know how do you know what I'm spending my money on? Like, how do you know I don't have to uh, pay for a sick family member? How do you know that I'm not having to pay for this and that for my two kids? I got a wife, I have a family, I have bills, responsibilities, things that I'm investing in for myself to elevate my career. Like, it was just so weird that he brought all of this in, and I feel like he made it a little like personal when it didn't need to be. So I just kind of lost respect for him at that point.
now the question I got for you, Leo, and Janelle's gonna have to ask the question right after, is forget all about the stuff that happened. How are you feeling mentally? Because you just a
Good
roller
question.
coaster the day you walked in,
Mm.
up until there was a point that you weren't on TV anymore. They split you and Bobby up.
Yeah.
Like, give us a mental look into that, and did that help with your music as well?
Good question.
Okay, so I think I'll backtrack a little bit. Well, I'll work my way backwards, not backtrack, but I feel like that situation, it definitely it put me in a mind in a state of mind where I didn't even want to think about wrestling anymore. So it made me think about other things that made me happy, or other things that I might want to pursue outside of wrestling. And during that time, that I think it was about 6 to 7 months when I was away, that was the perfect time to, kind of dig deep into my music, because it was something that I always wanted to do. So I feel like because of that situation, if I wasn't home for those 6 to 7 months, I don't even think that I would be doing music right now, honestly, just because I wouldn't have had the time. Um, but yeah, I feel like that definitely helped me out in a music sense. But okay, now that I'm working backwards, I forgot the first question that you asked.
Now, what was your mental state during that time? Like, how were you feeling? Because you mentioned like you got one of the top. I'm gonna keep it above. Let's rewind. We all of color here. You're one of the few black guys there, and the veteran black dude comes up to you. You have a miscommunication. He goes on his public platform, low key kind of destroys you among the black wrestling community and the regular wrestling community. And then you have the tweet in the back, the tweet going on. Like, I really want to know what's going through here. Like, how are you feeling at this time? Because shit went left.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yeah. I think mentally, I think overall I was just confused, man. Like, I was really confused. I just didn't know where all of this animosity and, not hate, but just like discomfort with me was. I felt like he was just in a place of like discomfort, that he was kind of like disgusted at how, I portrayed myself. I don't know. It was definitely weird as an African American to see, you know, another African American that has accomplished so much in the company that I love. I feel like it was definitely, it was a little traumatizing in a way, man. I was like, man, like that sucks. Like, in a profession where it's predominantly, you know, white or Caucasian,
No, it's
it
white.
would,
No, it's white.
yeah, yeah.
We get it.
I feel like,
We know.
you know, it sucked. It definitely sucked, and it put me in a kind of in a I don't care like mentality. I think that's when I started to kind of drift away mentally from the company. Like physically, I was still there, but mentally, I was just like, man, this is not what I thought it would be like when I was 5 years old and thinking that I wanted to be a professional wrestler. So it was definitely traumatizing, and like again, I was confused and hurt and frustrated. Yeah, I just tried to get control on the situation when none of it was in my control.
Got you. So you talked about the confusion and everything. Who was some of your biggest like people in your support system in the business? Like I think that's one thing that I've seen from some of our guys that are in the indie scene, and they have each other to support one another. Who were some of the guys that backstage or just even outside of the ring that was a part of your support system through your time in WWE?
If I had to pick a wrestler, when I was currently in the position that I was in, I would just say Bobby. That's it. As far as a wrestler goes, nobody really spoke to me that much. I felt like it was a weird energy every time I was around people because they saw this, at the time, 23-year-old kid on Monday Night Raw.
Piece of gold.
Every every week getting all like these segments, and I mean, and I get it. Like I feel like if I was in that position, I would kind of look at the situation too. Like, I don't know. I think it was weird for people to see that I've only been in the company for 2 years or less than 2 years at the time. And I've already been through, every brand, and I was in a major position with a major player. I feel like there was definitely some kind of, tension there.
You had haters. It's okay.
Yeah,
You had
it
haters.
really
You had
wasn't like
haters.
spoken on. It really wasn't spoken on, but I could feel it. But yeah, as far as a wrestler goes, like people said hate to me and stuff like that, but there was no like real like deep conversations or anything like that, other than Bobby and I think like Lacey Evans, because she was pretty close with me, and when we were both in NXT and we talked a lot, and our kids hung out with each other. So yeah, I feel like that was it. And of course, like Shane, like people that I've known on the independent scene, those were the people that I kind of talked to the most.
So speaking about Shane, have you guys ever collaborated on music, and like what's that process like?
Oh, we have actually. Shane just put out an
album?
album not too long ago. We have a song on there together that's titled "I'm Gonna Need Some Help," and yeah, it's pretty cool. And luckily we got to actually be in the same studio with each other making this track together. So that was pretty cool. Just because we've been friends for so long, and to be able to be on a song together, that was cool.
All right, so my question is this: so you came out of all of that, you dropped some fire tracks, you came on TV, brand new look, you become cruiserweight champion. How was that journey back to the ring and winning that title? How was that for you, King?
That was his with.
Yeah, that was it was just refreshing. Just because even though I've had wrestling matches before, I was with Bobby on Raw, being on 205 Live. But even when I made the jump to Raw, a lot of people didn't even know that I was a wrestler. They just thought that I was just some guy that just came
What?
with Bobby. And then once I
What?
returned to NXT, people like the newer fans of NXT, they only saw me as a manager with Bobby. So a lot of people didn't even know that I could wrestle. So I think it was cool to go back out there and not only wrestle and show people that, you know, not only can I like talk on the microphone, but I can put on some pretty good matches. I think it was cool because the first time I was in NXT, I believe I only had 2 matches, and then I got caught up in 205 Live. So it was nice to go back to NXT and wrestle at Full Sail and, you know, put on some pretty good matches.
When you came back when originally when you were with Bobby, I thought it was the greatest thing on TV. And walk me through that, the creative process of that, because you see your entertainment side when you were a manager. And, like, you did it with Kaz, right? Was Kaz the one that was writing the script for that?
For the majority of the time, yes, I was working with Kaz with the entire Bobby thing.
So how was the creative process behind that? Like, did you like say, yo, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna do that, like, because to me, you felt like you were Diddy. It was like, that's what it seemed like, and I loved every bit of it.
Well, to start off, there was no creative process. I feel like they just knew that they had a kid that was charismatic and could talk on the microphone, and they knew that they wanted me to be with Bobby. They didn't know what they wanted us to do. So I feel like the entire process was you know, kind of tackling things as they came along. Like there was no thought out plan or creative for us. You know, me and Bobby just literally took it week by week and saw what we could do to elevate the character or yeah, man, it was even that was weird. And Cass helped out so much because you know, I knew Kaz before coming to WWE, so we were close in that sense, and he knew all of like the pop culture references and I don't know. I felt like he just knew what would work for me and Bobby, and you know, I try not to make everything about, you know, like race or whatever, but you know, having like an African American writer. You know, working with me and Bobby, and he was the only African American writer.
Oh my God. It is.
I felt like it definitely did us wonders having him with us.
Yeah, because I'm telling you this right now, it was one of the best things on Raw. And then
it's better than, you know, the whole Lana thing. I'm just gonna put that on.
10 times better.
It'll be what it is.
But one of the best things that I enjoyed about it, and this is something that I hope you take it in your music career, is your social media. Is what you were doing on social media with Bobby. You were doing like vignettes with Bobby. You buying sunglasses. You picking out your car.
Yeah.
The other thing that I saw was like you were interacting with fans. You're doing your
the Instagram morning thing you used to do. That was so dope.
Fire. Cereal. And I was like, yo, this, like, I remember Janelle would be like, yo, he's doing it right now. Go to his page. Like, she'll send me a text.
Like, I would text him in the morning because I thought it was the dopest thing. I was like, yo, he really eating cereal on Instagram. He talking to people. Yo, watch this right now.
So I thought it was WWE telling you to do this.
Oh, no. No.
So that's the thing. That's the thing that, like, was dope, because now that you're telling us that it was just you doing it, if you put the same, I think it was your indie background that made you do the extra stuff. So that was one of the beauties. But what's the next step? Because let's all put it out there. We saw the tweet.
Yeah, we saw it. I don't believe it, but
are you is this a shoot or this is kayfabe?
Oh no,
right, like I'm trying to hear you. Like
it's very real. It's a very real situation. I I don't know. I'm really. It's a combination of a lot of things. One, I've been playing sports at a very high level ever since I was 5 years old. So I know it sounds crazy, but my body is literally beat. Only being 25 years old, I've literally played sports all year round since I was 5 years old. From basketball to baseball to football to wrestling, amateur wrestling. So physically, there's a lot going on with me. Mentally, I think my experience in the WWE kind of drained me. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with just in the wrestling world in a business sense that I just don't agree with. Just how wrestling, just the politics, the backstage politics. Like I'm not one for politics, and I've never. I come from a world where if you work hard, you get rewarded. And I just don't understand the whole, and maybe it's not the same. Maybe it's not the same in each bubble of wrestling. Maybe it's just the WWE, who knows? But I've just seen and heard a lot of things within the company and with my time there that I just morally just don't agree with. And I feel like I'm just burnt out. I'm just burnt out from wrestling in general. And finding a new passion with music and being able to be home with my family so much now. It's a nice feeling, like being on the road with Bobby or just in general with the WWE, being on the road, like 360 days a year, or however long it is. It's pretty long. But yeah, you just didn't have that time with family. So who knows, man? And especially, it's so hard to answer what's next, obviously, with everything that's going on in the world. Who knows when wrestling shows are going to be back normal? Yeah, it's a lot. I think more so it's just I'm burnt out, and I think I'm a little traumatized just with the whole experience with the politics of wrestling. I just don't know if that energy that I've had for wrestling to put my all into it and expect something out of it is just not there right now, at least. So it's a very real situation.
I think it takes a lot for someone, just in general. It doesn't have to be about wrestling, just to take a step back and figure out some different priorities and different things you want to do. So you talking about your music, what new projects you are working on in terms of your music?
Yeah, so I know you mentioned it earlier in the interview, but I do have an album that's coming out in 4 days, or depending on when this airs, it might already be out.
Tomorrow.
Oh, this is going to air tomorrow.
So I'll just say the date. This is going to air 5/11/20. This is my first album. This is my first major project outside of, my release from the WWE, which is pretty major for me. Putting myself out there as this is the first thing that I'm doing, so that's pretty cool. Along with that, I also have a newly launched website, musicbylio.com, and it has all of the channels to my where you can find my music on all of the streaming platforms, and as well as merchandise and 8x10s and other things that are going to be added to that. But yeah, I've just been focusing on music right now. I know within the next couple of months, hopefully, if all of this pandemic stuff ends before this year is over, I'll be in my first movie with my friend Jason David Frank, a spinoff of Power Rangers with the Legend of the White Dragon.
The White Ranger? Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait, stop
Wait
that.
a minute.
Stop that.
Pause.
Wait. You have to understand.
White Ranger?
Yeah.
Tommy?
Wait,
Tommy?
time out.
No, he's a White Ranger. He's the
Wait.
OG Green Ranger. This man whooped the Power Rangers for a whole week. My son went to the Megazord, kicked them out, had a...
First of all, he stole Kimberly low key, but we not, I don't say
the ultimate Ranger.
Time out. Couple things. My brother and I are massive Power Ranger fans. Number 2, where's the promo video?
It's already out. It's already out. It's been announced.
I'm gonna email you.
Send us everything.
Send us everything. We're gonna put it on our Twitter, whatever you need, whatever, because we're massive. Power Rangers. I know Jason was working on something. I didn't know it was with you. How did that happen?
Yes, please.
Well, so this is a project that he's been working on for a while now, and over the course of the last 2 years, I think that's about as long as I've known Jason now. We've
on me.
Yeah, we developed like a cool friendship, cool relationship, where it got to the point where he wanted to cast me for the Legend of the White Dragon, alongside of the production company Bat in the Sun out in LA. So yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. Hopefully once all of this is done with, and you can see the Kickstarter, where they've already started a Kickstarter campaign. We've reached our first goal, and we have 2 more, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna reach it. It's been getting up there pretty quickly. So
wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. The Kickstarter, the trailer is out. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's pretty cool.
But you know what's funny? I was gonna ask you if you thought about acting.
Yeah.
Because I was dead serious about to ask you, like, have you ever thought about getting into acting? Because once again, it goes back to what you did with boxing. You and this may be premature, but you're one of the best managers I've seen in a long,
hands down.
And it's because he's one of the only in a long
Hands
time.
down.
So one thing the wrestling business has forgotten about is the essence of a manager. Like, they have Selena Vega now, which is, she's out here doing her thing.
Her stable, yeah.
Hold on, sorry y'all. But then I just feel like back growing up watching like WCW and like WWF at the time, like, managers was a real life thing.
The major key, man.
Especially when you have somebody that may not be as strong on the mic as you are, but you guys as a team, as a collective, come out, bigger and better. So it's just it was a phenomenal thing to see at that time.
I remember I was in group chats defending you. I was like, y'all hating. Y'all hating. I don't care how he sounds. He is hitting it.
He's hitting it. He was key.
It was, you gotta understand is that you took something that, and you even established it more, that was nothing. And you made it to some type of life. And the biggest thing, and we don't talk about race all the time, but we talk about it. You are a black dude representing the culture.
Another black man.
On the best way. And we all understood what you were talking about. We all understood it. So you going into acting is I think, personally, that's the way to go.
But
I don't mean to sound preachy right now, but this Power Ranger shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be big, dog. It's like
support. You have what?
You guys support
us everything.
Everything. Like, you have to understand, Leo. Like, for me, when I saw you on the screen, I've been a big fan of you from the indies. You asked my brother and Janelle. Every time I say, "Oh, who's the hottest guy coming?" I was like, Lio Rush. Like, who is he? Check him out. Big fan. The moment I realized that you was good, like, yo, he's golden, everybody was kind of doubting Bobby. Like, before y'all got paired up, Bobby was kind of lost in the shuffle. And so were you a little bit. They got paired up, I'm looking like, okay. And because y'all was together, that first, like, when you won the IC title, before they messed up the whole storyline, I was just like, Bobby is on his way to something bigger. Both these guys, just in case they split up, they gonna go to the next level with this gimmick. But then they just did something dumb. They made him the booty master. I'm looking like, And matter of fact, I'm gonna say this like it is. Honestly, that whole booty thing, that kind of disgraced him as a character because in TNA, he was walking Armageddon. He had all the men's title like this. Fierce man. But it wasn't at the fierce that you was like, oh, he doing too much like a gangster. It was just like, I respect this man. Everything he does looks believable. Then when he turned to the booty master, all of that, I'm looking like, what the hell are they doing?
That was a turn off.
It was just like, I don't see a man's real behind like that. Like, it was just too much. And I was like, all right, you left. When you hit that Lullaby song, I was like, all right, because Enzo kind of spoiled it for y'all wrestler rappers. I was like, Enzo's trash. Hopefully, like Enzo set the bar so low for y'all. I was just like, Enzo's not nice. I remember me and Gino was on another podcast on the show. We listened to it, I was just like, this is hard. I went home, when we watched the
video.
Yes.
I don't remember the name of the song, but it was the video you did like right after there, like right around the end of Bobby stuff. And we watched it, and I was like, because at first, I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, I don't know if it's gonna hit. I was like, I don't know. And then we watched it, and we like viewed it while we were recording another podcast, and I was like, yo, that was dope. Like that was something I wasn't even expect. Like the expectation was so low, but I was just like, this was so good. Like,
fire. Then the next track you came out, I Wonder. Oh my gosh, you flex with the R&B flex. I was like, yo, and your acting in that was so believable. Like a tear really did came down. I'm looking like, yo, like my brother said, like I didn't know he was working on Power Rangers with Jason Frank, but yo, listen, if you never go back to wrestling, dogs, yo, I know you're gonna exceed in acting because you're talented, King. And whoever didn't tell you all this collectively, him and Jabba Tears, everyone collectively, we love you, Lio. We want you to win.
Oh, we want you to win at all costs.
And anything you do, we'll be rooting for you. Anything you do, Lio. So you got our approval from the Jabba Tears, everybody.
I appreciate that.
Quick question, Lio. Because like my brother said and Janelle said, you're very talented. You went through the indie grind, so you're gonna land on your feet. You already got stuff in the works, so you're gonna get hot again. And I know, and we all know Vince loves money. If he picks up the phone and calls you coming back?
What are you talking about? Anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, because
no, let's say maybe another 2 years.
2 years.
No.
You're gonna get what?
No.
Oh.
No.
Why not? Let's say he throws the cash at you. He throws
$2 million. Matter of fact, $5 million.
And he's notorious for doing that. If you watch this week's Dark Side of the Ring, and he paid for Andre to come back, I said, "Oh, Vince is out here, been putting his stuff on the table and saying come back." So he'll do it.
Yeah. So I'm not just gonna say flat out no, but yeah, it would take a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it would take a lot. It would take a lot for me to come back, and it's not even about the money, honestly.
I keep saying that.
Yeah, it would definitely take a lot for me to come back, just because of I've seen every corner and hallway and room of that entire company, and again, there's just a lot that I just morally do not agree with, and it would take a lot for me to go back. If I have a family to think about, it's not just my own selfish decision. So I would definitely have to see where I am in my life, see where my family is at that time, and how it's gonna benefit all of us. So
no, that's true.
Would AEW be a viable option? I have to ask this one question.
No. It's a
would
no.
AEW be that viable option? Like, yo, hey, if they called you in 2 years?
Yeah.
I mean, again, like I honestly just don't know. It'd be just because of there's so much uncertainty in the world right now.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's gonna happen. Like I wish that I had an answer for you.
Okay.
But again, like I think just overall, I'm just really turned off by a lot of the backstage politics that comes with wrestling. And you know, I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm happy. I feel like I have control, which I didn't have any control for the past 3 years of my life. So I'm definitely just enjoying the time right now that I have to push the things that I want to push and control the things that I want to be in control of. So again, I think that's just another situation of, you know, if it benefits, uh, you know, not only myself but for my family, then of course I would think about it. But you know, I'm just not going to run right to, you know, the first opportunity that's thrown at me.
No,
So I
which
have a
is
question
smart.
for you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Janelle. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, so I have a music one. So if you could do a song with anybody right now,
Dead or
who
alive?
would it be? Not dead or alive. Like, let the person be alive. You know, like he can't realistically do a song with Pac. Like, no, we're not doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Somebody that is now. Like, who is someone that you, if you had the opportunity to connect with and do some music with, who would it be?
This is gonna be, oh man, I don't know if you guys are gonna like this answer,
No, let's go. Let's go.
but I just recently saw her documentary and I thought it was super just inspiring. But Taylor Swift.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just,
Okay.
have you okay,
Okay, you
before you
right. Like,
react,
what?
before you
I'm a fan
react,
of
before
her.
you react,
I'm a
before you
fan of
react.
hers. I'm a fan of hers. So
Have you
you down with
seen
me,
her
dogs?
Netflix documentary?
I
You
didn't
know
see
what?
that,
I'll
but
watch it for you.
Now I'm gonna,
I'm
yeah,
watching.
I
You
will
have
watch
to.
it just
There's
because
a
you said so.
there's a lot of similarities that I feel like I've gone through in my life as far as dealing with politics and dealing with backlash and overcoming certain obstacles and stuff like that, and
Okay.
putting
Taylor
energy
Swift,
into
right?
something, putting energy into something that you know that you love. You have to watch the documentary. I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
I'm a fan
fair.
of music though, so especially her first album, fire. Like, ooh, come on. I'm a fan of her, so
Yeah,
that ain't weird to me.
I think because of that choice, I picked that choice because I'm trying to pick things that inspire me, and I feel like a lot of people or everybody right now needs inspiration and motivation to push forward because everything that's going on in the world right now is just super, you
Depressing.
know,
It's
depressing.
weird. It's
Like, you know,
sad.
like I like Roddy Ricch, I like Post Malone. I like all of these other people, but like they don't really, you know, I'm not gonna change the world. Like it's just gonna be a bop. Like at the end of the day, like it's not gonna be like a song that like I feel and that like motivates me. You know.
That's true.
So I don't know.
That's
That's
fair.
So, I got a question. So,
yeah.
it's kind of a two-parter, but it's kind of the same question in one. So it could be one. I don't know. You
So it's
figure it
really
out.
one question.
Yeah. So my question is like, it's kind of like, what's the big like? Is there a difference between NXT being like when Trish was running it? What was the difference when? My question is, what's the difference how NXT is run and how during then the main roster was? What was the big difference? And how was working for Triple H compared to working for Vince?
There's a lot more writers in Raw and SmackDown. A lot more writers.
Well, that's evident. That's
I
very
didn't know
evident.
that. I didn't know. I thought it was
And
all the same.
yeah, a lot more writers, a lot more like producers. And of course the travel. You know, we don't got to go anywhere for NXT. Well, can't say we anymore because I'm not a part of it. But you know, NXT, you know, they just stay in one place, so it's a lot less stressful. A lot less stressful. But yeah, I think that's the major difference. Just how many people that you have to deal with every week. That's about it.
So
Question.
how was it like? My other part question, like, how was it working with Triple H compared to Vince?
Honestly, I feel like I had more direction with Vince, just because the whole me and Bobby pairing was his idea completely. So he
Oh
had his
wow.
own vision for it. I feel
Oh,
like
wow.
so every week I was talking to Vince like in his office and it was a lot more hands-on. With Triple H, I feel like, you know, Vince only puts his time and energy into things that he believes in, like you said, like I said, like that was his pairing. That's what he wanted. You know, I feel like working with Triple H, like he has to deal with. Not only does he have to deal with the NXT people that are on TV, but he has to deal with the NXT people that are not on TV and that's in the PC. So, and it's just that one person with less writers and less producers. So it's a lot less hands-on time with Triple H. At least in my case, it was. I barely, you know, had the opportunity to, you know, sit down with Triple H and, you know, see what exactly it was that he wanted from me, or whatever his vision was.
Wow, I had no idea because in my head, I think once Triple H, you know, once you get the title, Triple H take a pitch with you. It's kind of like I thought he was hands on with everybody, but wow.
I mean, he only one person though. Like, you know,
I didn't know.
No, but when you think about it, and I'm glad you brought, like, I totally didn't even think about like the actual PC. Like the PC has always incoming classes of wrestlers that come in, referees that come. Like, there's always people coming into the school. So like for him to be doing both, that's a lot.
Mm.
How long were you in the PC Center before you got onto the NXT? It seemed like you blinked an eye, you were in the PC.
He coughed. He said, "Shoot," and he was
so
there.
I think when I first got signed, I think I was in the PC for about 3 months before I got put on TV. But I think that was because a lot of people don't know this, but literally the day that I got to the WWE, I rolled my ankle really bad, and I was injured for like the first month, or honestly for the whole 3 months, because the first match that I had, which was with Velveteen Dream, my ankle was wrapped so heavily, and I was still kind of injured at the time. So I think if I didn't get injured, I would have been on TV a lot sooner than those 3 months. But before I got put up to 205 Live, I think I was just overall at the PC for a good like 7 months before I was on 205 and then made it to Raw.
Okay. So give me a feel of the album. Like, what is the general feel of this album? Are you talking about the stuff that you went through? Is this pre like Elite? Is this pre like old stuff that you had tucked away in the chamber? Like, talk about that.
Yeah, so I already knew that I wanted to release an album soon. So a lot of the stuff that's on this album is stuff that I kind of had in the chamber already before I knew about, you know, the whole release thing. So a lot of the tracks on there, almost all of them, are strictly before the release happened, and all of it is just experiences that I've gone through. More so, like just like personal relationship like experiences. I feel like this is my highest stream song right now that I've ever put out is I Wonder. And so I feel like a lot of people drifted more towards that sound. So I wanted to give people a little bit more of that. So this is what this album is going to be.
Okay. I like the direction of what you did with the songs. The R&B stuff is one of your better works. And my is Josiah, right?
Josiah, yeah.
You guys did a song together, and it was like WWE was kind of involved in it. When you got back, was WWE really trying to push you to do more music? Because the song was fire. The song, you decided to hit that shit. So was WWE like, yo, you guys are both talented, let's do more music? Because you know Sasha has an album coming out. He was working on doing music with WWE. Elias got a whole album. So was that a possibility when you were at the
So that song, that entire project, the video, all of it had nothing to do with WWE.
Wow.
It was strictly a side project that me and Josiah wanted to do. We got clearance from the WWE to use the facility to have our own videographer that we paid for and production team and stuff like that to come in. So they got the okay to do that, but that was literally the only involvement that they had in it, was signing off on, that we could use the facility. But everything else was strictly me and Josiah.
Really?
Yep.
That's dope.
They never came to you guys about like, hey, like, let's put an album together, let's release it, let's do something.
No.
But I feel like there's a lot of like people that have like that side of music that's in the business that really doesn't want their creative to be touched by that, because they want their own creative freedom with that. So that makes a little bit of sense. Like, but if it's the one thing. But if it's the one thing you can say that's yours and that creatively you can't touch it, like none of them can, like I would keep that to myself too.
I mean, I kind of see what my brother is saying, because WWE is that's not unfamiliar territory with WWE when it comes to music. Come on, like they made WWE originals.
They haven't made CDs volume 1 through 5 in over 2 decades. Like, come on.
No, so I get that. But think about it. Sasha's about to release an album. Elias had an album come out. It's street. Now you have 2 talented brothers who actually are proven in the booth. I'm coming to y'all. Like, hey. Yeah. But I totally get it. And once again, the track was fire.
Appreciate it.
Your music is fire. All of it.
Like I know we gotta go soon, but what do you want? Like, now that you're not in the E anymore, like you said, you're back on your borderline indie hustle. What does Mr. Green want?
Yeah.
What do you want next, moving forward in this new territory? I know things, like you said before, we don't know what's the next step, what's gonna happen in the world. But what opens up tomorrow? What do you want to do? Like, what do you really want to do?
Yeah. So obviously I need to make money because I have a family. I got a family to take care of. But I'm really just focused on doing what's gonna truly make me happy right now. Mm-hmm. Just because I've been unhappy for so long, dude. Like I can't put myself in another position like I was previously in. I need control over what I'm doing. At least for now, I do, just so I can, be in the right state of mind to move forward. But yeah, man, I feel like the one thing that is truly making me happy right now, and I feel like I make music for me. I try not to worry about, is this gonna, please this crowd, or are people gonna like it? I try to just do what I like hearing and what makes me feel good. So I'm making music for me right now, and if people like it, then great. If they don't, then at the end of the day, I'm still happy making music. So that's what I enjoy doing right now.
Okay.
All right, Mrblacc, do you have one last question so we can wrap things up?
Dang. I have no more wrestling questions. Music-wise, we didn't answer it. I'm good, man. I'm good on my end.
Okay, so Wilkins, you got one more. Go ahead.
So, I remember listening to another podcast, and you talked a lot about your family. And the stuff you went through in your whole entire life, dealing with your family, your sisters, your dad, your mom, like a bunch of, and your mom is very active on your social media.
Yeah, it's adorable. Your mom is so adorable.
But regardless of that, like, how are they doing? And you probably ask that a lot, but how are they doing? Seeing maybe borderline the breadwinner of the family go through what he's going through, and it's taking a toll on what you went through? Like, how are they doing through all of this?
I think my parents obviously know me better than anybody. They know that I'm gonna land on my feet. They know that, you know, I'm not just gonna, you know, be discouraged or give up on things that I really want to do or accomplish. And that just isn't wrestling. Just like anything, I just feel like I'm just a overall, not, I don't even know how to explain it, but anything that I put my mind to, I go after it and I get it. So they know that I'm gonna be okay. I think they just enjoy seeing me be happy and seeing a sense of like freedom with me. So I think they're happy in that sense. It sucks, obviously, that what happened. But you know, at the end of the day, man, I accomplished things in the WWE that, you know, people 10 plus years in the company haven't even touched. So and I'm so grateful for everything that I've done, and the things that I have done have just left such a huge mark in the company that people will never forget it. So I'm glad at the things that I've accomplished in the company, and I honestly have no regrets. If I never went back to the WWE, I think I would be completely okay with that, just because of the amount of things that I've accomplished and different you know, events and special moments in WWE history that I've been a part of.
That's fair. So last question, and then, you know, you'll be able to plug yourself, tell everyone any up and coming things for you. My last question to you would be, as I mentioned, we know a lot of guys that are currently like in wrestling school, such as Sir Wilkins himself. What's one piece of advice you would give to a person of color that is coming up in the wrestling business? Because I think it's important. Like, we, you know, with our podcast, we definitely promote Black excellence because that's just who we are and what we believe. And I think we have opportunities to talk to others of color and their experiences. I think it's important to also spread that message and that type of wisdom to others, so that they have a better understanding and they don't feel like they're alone. Because I think that's something too in our community, within the community, is that we just, it's such a small of us that it almost is like the unforgotten, you know, hero. So what's one piece of advice you would give to a person of color that is trying to up and come into the wrestling business?
I think that this is going to go back to what I've learned on the independent scene. I think it ties into this too, but especially with being like an African-American professional wrestler. But believe in yourself and don't be apologetic about it. You know, like nobody's going to do it for you. Not one person. I feel like, and it sucks to say, it really does suck to say, but you know, we don't see many instances at all with an African American on top. But I feel like a big part of that has to do with, I feel like a lot of us feel like we have to, you know, act a certain way or be a certain way to please, to sorry about that, to please other people, when we should just be us, you know. Show that we're hungry, show that we're passionate, show that we're good at what we do, and that we can be, you know, the best in the world, literally. And that sounds super cheesy, but it's true. You know, definitely just believe in yourself and just keep going forward. Like, it's a very, and people, not everybody will understand it, but being an African American professional wrestler is hard. It's very hard.
Wow.
And
Bars. You know
yeah. That's kind of what I have to say about that. I feel like that was the first time I've ever even said that. But you know, the people that you know, understand that or get it will understand it and get it. And for the people who don't, then you know, they never will. But that's okay.
And that's okay. I think that's one of the biggest things we've learned is that, you know, certain things is not for everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and we're not we're unapologetic about that. So,
Yeah.
but we, on behalf of the Java Tears podcast, we wish you all the best in every and anything you do. Please send us everything you got so we will post and we will tell everybody.
Yes.
And then once again, before we do sign off, let everyone know where to find you, social media, upcoming projects, dates, and things like that.
Yes. So for the people who do know me, they know that I'm like pretty big on like social media. We're not big on social media, but I like to be on social media a lot just because I like interacting with my fans. I like keeping people updated with what I have going on. I feel like recently I've been really into my Instagram. So I guess I'll just plug everything since I'm on everything. But Twitter at It's Lio Rush. I'm on Instagram at LioRush, which is the platform that I'm on right now. I'm on TikTok, as everybody is. At Hey It's Lio and again I have my website musicbylio.com where you can find merchandise, 8x10s, all of the streaming platforms that my music is on, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm also working with my wife on her small business of handmade incense, which is called Oh My Goodness by Sarah, and that is on Etsy. So yeah, she makes homemade incense and they smell incredible. I'm a big incense and candles guy. So.
Yes, I love candles. I literally just
love
bought a candle yesterday at
Y'all
Family
said-
Dollar because I love it. Because I
Yeah.
love my house to smell good.
Yeah, she
No,
has
I just smoke a lot of
tons
weed.
of different scents on there and like incense and cones, and it's amazing.
What's the website?
Okay.
It's called Oh My Goodness by Sarah, but it's on Etsy. Yeah, it's on Etsy.
Goodness. By Sarah. Okay, check that out.
Yeah, we got
One more question I have to
look at
ask.
this.
How were you
Please,
able
yeah.
to some people who come to WWE, how were you able to keep your name?
You said how are they able to?
No. How were you able to keep your name? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I think I don't know. It's different cases for people, I guess. Like, I guess in my case, I kind of my class that I came with, that I got signed with, all of the Ring of Honor guys that I was with at the time, like Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Dijak. I think Dijak was the only person who actually had to get his name changed. But I think that was a much bigger reason. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it just depends on, what you've accomplished outside of WWE, and if your name has a bigger marketable, value to it. I was already on television with that name, so a lot of people knew me kind of like coming in, like the same with like Kushida, like they know Kushida for being, a Japanese like legend and stuff like that. So I don't know. I guess it just depends on, what you've accomplished outside of the company and if you can use that name to draw more people into WWE.
Okay.
Okay. See, he did have a last question, so that's good.
I
But once again, we thank you so much for joining us, taking the time out, talking about things. It's super important to have these conversations. It's a therapy session for us, and hopefully the same for you. And once again, send us literally every link, everything you have, send it to us, and also send us your t-shirt size. We're gonna send you a shirt.
Definitely. I'll make sure to take a picture of it and post it on my Instagram and everything. So
Awesome.
yeah.
My guy. So once again, thanks to Lio Rush for joining us on this exclusive episode of the Java Tears podcast. I'm once again Janelle from HR here with Sir Wilkins and Mrblacc. #Black Excellence. #we're out.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
No
Bye-bye.
problem.
I was over, got the hands in motion. If you go with rolling, no need to focus. Traveling states and over oceans. You gotta wait till your coast chosen. Try to have lines outside the show like Harry Potter releases at Barnes & Noble.